All right, folks, you know I'm Mr. In the Middle here. I just want to know that our government actually has somewhat of a clue, and this is frustrating me. This is not a left or right political video. This is talk about Afghanistan. Straight talk. And why is it that Reuters just got 2 leaked audio tapes and transcripts, one between Biden and the president, then president of Afghanistan, and then another one between Commander McKenzie and others? Why is it that in these calls, the United States government seems completely unaware of the potential collapse of Afghanistan, and instead of actually talking about physical military support, we're talking about, hey, Ghani, you gotta work on your perception. Yes, I kid you not, this is not hyperbole. Let's take a look at the document itself, or the report itself, rather. This is from Reuters, published today. Take a look at this here. We have an introductory paragraph where Reuters says in the last call between President Biden and Ghani, in the last call, neither Ghani nor Biden appeared aware or prepared for the immediate danger of the entire country falling to insurgents. Reuters says this. Reuters is a very high fact media source. They are a newswire service. Now, I'm not trying to elevate them to say they can't be wrong, but this is different from like a Fox or CNN. Okay, and I'm also not trying to diss them, but let's be real. Let's just keep going. You can draw your own conclusions, okay? The president spoke for about 14 minutes on July 23rd. That's about 3 weeks before Ghani fled the presidential palace when the Taliban took over Kabul. Reuters reviewed the transcript and listened to audio to authenticate the conversation. In the call, Biden offered aid to Ghani if Ghani could publicly project he had a plan to control the spiraling situation in Afghanistan. So, hey, we'll help you out. We'll send in some more air support, but you better make sure the people know you're wearing the pants. It's a very awkward kind of conversation right before an entire country is about to collapse. Like, really? Right before a country's going to collapse? You'd have a conversation about, better project that you the boss. That's not good 3 weeks before collapse. Quote, we will continue to provide close air support if we know what the plan is, Biden said. You're telling me 3 weeks before Afghanistan collapsed, there was no plan? On either side, apparently? That either side was just completely clueless? Very odd. Very, very, very odd. The U.S. president then advised Ghani to get buy-in from powerful Afghan forces and military strategists. In other words, put a warrior in charge of the effort to make the country feel more powerful and united. Joe Biden, 3 weeks before the collapse, said, you clearly have the best military. You have 300,000 well-armed forces versus 70 to 80,000 Taliban. And clearly the 300,000 are, well, actually it says, and they, the 300,000, are clearly capable of fighting well. Days later, the Afghan military started folding across provincial capitals in the country with little fight against the Taliban. This is an embarrassing phone call. In much of the call, Biden focused on what he called the Afghan government's perception problem. Quote, I need not tell you the perception around the world and in parts of Afghanistan, I believe, is that things are not going well in terms of the fight against the Taliban. Really? 3 weeks before the collapse, it appears things are not going well, and there is no plan. There is no plan. This is scary. This is the United States of America. Here I am thinking our country, whether you are a Democrat or Republican, has our back. What happened? I want to know what happened, because this is a disaster. I mean, we know what happened, but I'm talking about, like, why, the details, right? Stuff like this, because this is just more of a sign of cluelessness of our government. Everyone in the government. I'm not trying to make this like an anti-Biden thing. It's everyone. You know, Biden, to some degree, is reliant heavily on whatever information he's given. Biden told Ghani that if Afghanistan's prominent political figures were to give a press conference together backing a new military strategy, quote, that will change perception and that will change an awful lot, I think. The American leader's words indicated he didn't anticipate a massive insurrection and collapse to come 23 days later. We're going to continue to fight hard, so on and so forth. White House declined to comment. After the call, White House released a statement saying we're going to continue to support Afghanistan. Ghani told Biden he believed there could be peace if he could rebalance the military solution, but we need to move with speed. In other words, Ghani was saying, I don't have a plan. And Biden's saying, you need to come up with a plan. And he's like, I don't got one. I got 300,000 people with guns, but no plan. And so then we get suggestions from the United States government. Well, maybe you need to put a warrior in charge. Yeah, build that reception. Put a warrior in charge. You know what? Have a press conference. Come on, man. I don't understand. Again, this is I'm expressing this frustration as an American. Okay, I want to believe in American exceptionalism, in the power of our coordinated military. I honor all of those who serve our country, those who give their lives for our safety and security. But this is what's going on at the top? Come on, man. I already used that one. Anyway, okay. Then there's, Ghani's trying to blame basically people from Pakistan coming over. The Pakistan embassy denies this. Reuters tried to reach out to Ghani, didn't get a response. Talk a little bit more about background here. Afghanistan was promising a shift in its military strategy to start focusing on protecting population centers, major cities, rather than fight to protect rural territories. Biden referred approvingly of that strategy. He said that doing so would help not just on the ground, but in the perception internationally that was required to shore up world support for the Afghan government. So, in other words, it sounds to me like Biden was kind of conditioning more support on Ghani actually running an efficient government. But this is, to me, a little bit of, I feel like, a chicken or egg problem. How can your government in Afghanistan feel more stable if you don't have the proper support? Like, you're really wobbly and you're like, I need help. But then the person with the help is like, I can see you're wobbling, but, before I give you any help, I need to see that you're stable. And you're like, we got some problems here. I'm laughing because of the ridiculousness of the analogy, not of the disaster that's going on, because my heart literally goes out not just to those who have lost their lives, but the families that are broken, the men and women, children, especially the women and children, the students. It's disgusting. But continuing on. Quote, I'm not a military guy, so I'm not telling you what a plan precisely should look like. You're going to get not only more help, but you're going to get a perception that is going to change, Biden said. Okay. Ghani, for his part, assured Biden that your assurance of support goes a very long way to enable us, to really mobilize us in earnest. Okay, the wording here is really bothering me because, we're getting a lot of like, I think this is going to help. This will improve the looks of things. And hey, your assurance of support feels good. Like, what kind of conversation is this? So I gotta chill out. A little over 2 weeks after Biden's call with Ghani, the Taliban captured several provincial Afghan capitals, and the United States said it was up to Afghan security forces to defend the country. Quote, these are their military forces, these are their provincial capitals, their people to defend, the Pentagon spokesperson said. Well, okay, so much for that support. August 11th, U.S. intelligence reports indicate Taliban fighters could isolate Afghanistan's capital in 30 days and take it over within 90. The fall happened in less than a week. There was a second call. This was interesting, by the way. This right here. Biden asked Ghani to get the former president, Hamid Karzai, on the phone, but Ghani said Karzai would not be helpful. He is contrary, and time is of the essence. We cannot bring every single individual, presumably on the phone. We've tried for months with Karzai. Last time we met for almost 2 hours, and he was cursing me out and was accusing me of being a U.S. lackey, to which Biden said, I'm going to reserve judgment on that. Then there was a second call between General Milley and Commander McKenzie, they spoke with Ghani. In this call also, on that same day, the area of focus was not on actual things happening, like, hey, we're gonna work on strikes in this area. Let's work on protecting this area. Let's get a contingent of troops over here. Let's get tanks mobilized there. None of that. These are the generals, okay? The generals of the United States military talking to the president now of Afghanistan, or the former president, saying, quote, the perception in the United States and in Europe and the media sort of thing is a narrative of Taliban momentum and a narrative of Taliban victory, and we need to collectively demonstrate and try to turn that perception. What is the, what? Our military? Hey, the enemy's got momentum. We need to change the perception that they have momentum. Why don't you freaking do something? I don't know. I don't know. I mean, then again, then it gets into, well, wait a minute. Like, what is the United supposed to do? Are you supposed to invade? No. Well, how about, like, in my opinion, kind of maybe going back to my prior example, how about, like, hey, look, let's get on the phone with your generals right now. Let's have a powwow, okay? Hey, listen, we got to protect Kabul. All right, where are the military forces? Let's go. Like, how about, like, verbal leadership rather than verbal, like, you got to do something? Hey, Ghani, did you do anything yet? You know, it's been a couple hours. You got to work on that perception, man. Again, I'm laughing because this is ridiculous. Because this is what we had 23 days before the fall. This is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Oh, and then of course, but make sure you hurry up with that perception. I want to vomit. That's it. I want to vomit. I think I'm gonna go do that right now because this is disgusting and disgraceful. Thank you for watching this video. If you want more of this content, consider subscribing. But until then, goodbye.